Yes, everyone, welcome back to another update on a twin turbo R32. I told you this year the car's going to be on the road, I promise you. Anyway, so last video, we got the rest of the petrol tank removed. Yes, it took a whole of a video to get the rest of the petrol tank removed, but we've done it. And then we were going to test the new setup, but we couldn't because we were missing this little part here. But here we are, we've got it now. So I'm going to get this fitted, get the fuel pumps wired up, and then fingers crossed, everything goes okay. We can fill it up with some fuel and then test it out, make sure there's no leaks. And then, yeah, we can move on to the rest of the wiring. I've literally had about 5-6 deliveries in the last few days with little bits and bobs, which are hopefully going to allow me to start this car for the first time with the sequential gearbox. And fingers crossed, there is nothing wrong with that gearbox. And we can, well, anyway, yeah, just fingers crossed there's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Listen, first of all, ignore this setup. This isn't going to be the permanent setup. This is just so I can get the thing started and running and test it out, get it mapped up, make sure everything's okay. The idea will be to run the lines, I don't even know where, but we're going to run some sort of hard lines into the floor and then with a bulkhead fitting, and then it's going to be coming underneath. So ignore this. This is a temporary measure. I know people might be in the comments like, what are you doing? That's dangerous, this, that and the other. But anyway, this is just a temp setup and it's not going to be permanent. What we were missing was this little fitting here. So here it is, as I mentioned. I'm going to go ahead, get this fitted, and then what we need to do is we need to wire up the fuel pump. So we've got a lift fuel pump that lifts obviously the fuel over to the other side. We've got 2 surge pumps, and then they're going to be wired over to the PMU that I showed you in the last video. And for those that didn't watch the last video, go and watch it. But if you didn't, here we are anyway. So we've got a PMU 16. This acts as our relays and fuses, which allows us to do away with a traditional fuse box and relays. And it's an amazing bit of kit. I keep singing its praises, but yeah, if you haven't, go and check them out. They're really, really cool, especially if you're doing anything similar to what I'm doing. Really worth looking into. So the fuel pumps are literally going to be wired directly to that, and then we're going to be able to control them well, they'll be turned on when the ignition's turned on and when the car's trying to get started. So all that's controlled through just that. You literally program all of it through that, and it tells you, send the correct voltage, sends the correct information back and forth. And yeah, really cool bit of kit. So enough talking, we're going to go and get it wired up, get that fitted, and then put some fuel in, and fingers crossed we've got no leaks. And there we go, that's the fitting finished. I did actually order 2, and I'm going to change this one as well because it's going to bug me that one's a certain brand and that one's a different brand. So we'll get them swapped around. I did notice as well that this fitting was a little bit loose. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this fitting's a little bit loose. So I need to change that, but I haven't got another one. So I'm going to get one ordered, and I've made a little note there to change it. Fingers crossed it's okay for the initial testing. But in terms of like taking it out on the road, like, I'm not going to be with that fitting. So anyway, onto some wiring. I'm not going to go to town with the wiring, literally going to put some wires onto it, run it down to the PMU. This is going to be getting a full motorsport harness, so there was no point in me trying to, or even going to buy more wires and trying to do everything really, really fancy when I'm going to be paying someone else to do that anyway. So for now, you're going to be seeing some absolute basic wiring, so don't judge me. Right, so a couple of days have passed and I've been chipping away at the wiring for the fuel pumps. I've managed to get them wired up, get them plugged into the PMU, and they are working fine. So let me just quickly show you. So as mentioned before, I'm not the best at wiring, but I found some wiring in the unit, and here we go. Tried to do it nice and neat, taking some inspiration from some Instagram posts that I've seen. But like I said, all this is getting redone professionally. So this is literally just me trying to get things working. So we've got the lift pump, 2 inline pumps as well, or in-tank pumps. I've just literally looped the earths together, gone to the battery for a permanent earth, and then the 3 wires going down to the PMU. So I'll quickly show you it all working. I'll show you another good feature as well. This is something, again, this is the reason I've asked for help with the files, because, well, let me show you first of all. So let's turn the power on. Keypad's going to light up. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So this is the ignition. I will be getting some little button things. I don't know what you call them, pictures anyway. They're like £5 each, something like that. If anyone's got a plug who can get me them cheaper, let me know please, because I'm not paying £5 per button for 12 buttons. That's insane. So anyway, press that button for the ignition on. You can hear the pump. So the pumps actually, hopefully you heard it anyway, but if you didn't, what happens there is the pumps actually primed. So they came on, primed, and then turned back off. Now, again, that's something that you can do with the PMU. So obviously it's been set in a way to do that, which I think is pretty cool, because otherwise, if it was just going from a fuse, if it was just going to a fuse and a relay and you turn the power on or the ignition on, they would just be on constantly. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So anyway, they're all working. I've tested them individually. They're definitely all working. And yeah, that's another little thing ticked off. Also, I forgot to mention, if I sound a little bit funny, it's because I've got another cold. I've been getting ill every other month. Not every other month, like every 3 weeks, I think I've been getting ill. It's getting ridiculous. But anyway, so next job is to change that little plug for the starter motor. I think I've mentioned it already, but if I didn't, let me just show you quickly. So this is the plug for the starter motor. That's what you'll find on a Mark IV Golf R32. I think you'll find that on most Mark IVs, but for some reason, the starter motor on this Quaife gearbox has got this type of plug, which you'll find on the newer stuff. In fact, the DSG R32 has the same plug, so I don't know. But anyway, I ordered this off Amazon, came really quick, next day delivery. Now in the picture, it didn't show it with this bit of wire coming out of it. It showed you with this plug and the pin, meaning that you could crimp your own wire onto it. So I'm a little bit annoyed about that because I don't really want to solder or crimp them wires together, but I'm going to have to for the sake of this video and for the sake of time. So I'm literally just going to chop this one off and then solder this one on, and then this other end will be wired into the PMU, and just like that it's done. Now I'm not really a fan of using these, but these little solder things, I don't know if you can see it, but it works. It's safe, and like I said, everything's getting rewired anyway, so it don't really matter. So yeah, that's been joined up. I've cut it down to length. I've got the correct fitting on there for the PMU. I'm going to actually hide that little solder thing with some heat shrink. What the hell do you call it now? I can't remember what you call it, but my mind's gone blank. But anyway, I'm going to go and plug that in, and then hopefully we'll be able to get the starter working. So let's go and have a look. Right, so that's the starter all wired up. Fingers crossed, we should be able to turn it over. So, ignition's on. Yes! Okay. Right, so that's the starter motor doing its job. Everything's wired in correctly. I didn't make any mistakes, so that's all good. So there we go, the starter motor's working off the button. That's a big milestone. The fuel pumps are wired up and all working. Next, we need to check for leaks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill the fuel tank up with some fuel, obviously, and then we're gonna check for some leaks. I'm a little bit worried about one fitting, which seems to be a bit loose. Not loose, but it's just not fitting like the other one. So I've ordered another one, but it's not here yet. And for the sake of the video and trying to get it started in this video, I think I'm just gonna give it a try. So wish me luck, and hopefully I don't get fuel everywhere, because that would be really, really bad. Anyway, next. Now I've got this cool little pump that I use to fill up my heater actually. So I usually put diesel in this tank, and then I put this little, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like an electric pump, and it pulls the fuel out of the tank and puts it in wherever I need to. Now I normally use this for diesel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pump the first few litres out. Well, obviously I'm using petrol now, so I normally use this for diesel. So to clear this out, I'm going to pump the first few bits into a separate tank just to get rid of any diesel that's in there. Yeah, contamination or whatever, just to be on the safe side. All right, so there we go. Like I said, probably a bit overkill. The amount of diesel that was in there probably doesn't even matter. There's probably more in the fuel pumps at Tesco or Shell or wherever you go. So anyway, the first official filling up of this fuel tank. Here we go. I'm not too sure how big this tank is, you know. I need to check that. I'm not too sure how many litres it holds. All I know is that this tank that I'm pumping it from holds 20 litres, and I filled it right to the brim, so obviously I've just removed a little bit of it, but we should have at least 15 litres in here, because it's hard. This pump thing doesn't get to the bottom corners and stuff. Right, that took ages. Nothing ever goes to plan. So the tip of that pump thing has just fallen off in here. So I'm gonna tip the rest of the fuel out into the tank and hopefully get the end of the thing that just broke off quickly. Yeah, fuel everywhere, of course. Don't know why I didn't get a funnel. Yeah, fuel over the electrical connections. That's very clever. It's going to be one of those days. I'll tell you what, me and fuel do not mix. So with the way things are set up, I don't have to try and start the car to see if we've got any fuel leaks. I can actually turn the fuel pumps on their own. So I think it's this one. No. So I need to turn the ignition on anyway. There we go. Which primes the pumps. All good so far. So I think it's this one. Yes, it is. So let's go and have a little look. So the fitting that I was worried about is this one. So we haven't got any leaks at the moment from what I can see, which is good. No doubt once it's moving around it probably will, which it shouldn't move around anyway, but with the way that we've got it set up here, there is a possibility of it moving around. So far so good. Now I do need to get some sort of gauge on here so I can see what fuel pressure we're actually getting. I'm probably going to put a sensor in instead of an actual gauge itself. Just depends how much space I've got really. I need to tighten that back up as well. So I'm not even actually sure if I'm getting fuel down here. Can't see why I wouldn't be. Pump out, return. It's very loud, that. Well, there is 3 pumps in there, I guess, so. Yeah, I can't see any leaks, but I am a little bit concerned that I can't tell if there's any fuel at the pump. Obviously, I mean at the rail. The only way I'm going to tell really is by either putting a gauge on, which I don't think I've got one, or by obviously trying to start it. Right, so I've pulled off the fuel lines and there's no fuel in there. Like, it's bone dry, which is very, very strange. There's no fuel on the fittings, nothing like that. So I'm a bit confused now. When this tank came to me, it wasn't assembled. So the fuel pumps were all fitted onto this section here. And then in a previous video, you would have seen me fit the gaskets around it, put the tank in and all that stuff. I'm wondering whether there was a cap over something, or I've missed something, or have I just not filled it up enough? Is there like a minimum that I need to fill it up by? I don't know. So I'm going to quickly message the company I got this from and ask them if there's like a minimal fuel amount I need to put in it. Depending on how long it takes for them to reply to me, I'm just going to remove all this quickly and check inside and see what's going on. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to message them first, then I'll do that, because I can't bother taking it all off. There's about 20 bolts to take it off. So yeah, a little bit confused, but I'll have an answer for you shortly, hopefully. Right, so I've spoken with the company that sold me the radium cell and all that, and basically what they said is that there is something that needs adjusting on the lift pump. So you have a lift pump that's pulling fuel all the way out the you've got a lift pump that's pulling fuel out of the tank, and then it's put into the surge, and then the 2 pumps obviously pump the fuel to the fuel rail to the injectors. So there's something that needs adjusting so that the pipe from the lift pump is all the way at the bottom of the tank. Now, obviously, because I bought it new, but I bought it assembled, basically. I thought that all would have been done and it was just a case of dropping it in. Actually, I remember when I ordered it, I asked literally, is it a case of just plumbing it up and going? And they're like, yes, it is. So I didn't even think or know to check that. But anyway, it's a good job I found this mistake now, or found this now anyway. If I would have filled that up to the top, then it would have worked, but it would have ran out of fuel early. Well, there would have been fuel in there, but it would have thought it had run out of fuel early. I'd have checked in there, seen that there's fuel, and probably been scratching my head for ages, wondering why the car's no longer working. So anyway, we found the problem. I'm gonna solve the problem by taking this out. So I've got to take all this assembly out, put it up, and then adjust what needs adjusting, put it back in, and then we'll try again. Look, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit annoyed about having to do this, but like I said, also, I'm glad that I found it now, because I literally could have been scratching my head trying to figure this all out. And it shouldn't take any longer than 10 minutes to sort out anyway, so let's get on with it. So there we go, we've got it out, and I'm assuming this is the little section that they was on about adjusting. Like I said, this is the lift pump. It pumps fuel into here, which is a surge tank. So if you don't know what a surge tank is, it basically holds fuel, and if you're like going around corners or whatever, turn the camera like I'm driving, it keeps the fuel in there and it keeps it so you're not going to basically run out of fuel or have like a little dry spell. As you can imagine, if you were turning and it was just this, all the fuel will go to one side. This makes sure it stays here and it's always got fuel. This is consistently putting fuel into it, so when the fuel's coming out of there, going into the fuel rail, this is putting fuel back in there. And yeah, I'm a little bit confused though with this, because it doesn't look like this little pipe is long enough, but I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is adjust it down to the lowest point and then work it out from there, go from there really. So I've now adjusted it as far down as it will go, like literally, unless I keep it on 1, which I don't know if it's safe to do. I don't know, actually, that might be a good idea. Will 1 Jubilee clip hold it safely? Because look how much fuel's in there. There's quite a lot of fuel left in there. I think I might risk it and just put 1 Jubilee clip on it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna. No, I can't actually. You know why I can't do that? Because there isn't enough pipe stretching down for me to even be able to do that, even if I wanted to. So yeah, I guess when it's empty, it's not actually empty, but there's nothing I can do. That's just going to be dead fuel in there. But yeah, I've taken some pictures. I'm going to send it over, ask them if, you know, if that's how it should be. While this is out, I'm going to put some more fuel in. I've gone and got some more V-power. So I'm going to fill it up. They did say that the foam does soak up a lot of the fuel. So even though I've poured in, I think at least 15 litres, you know, there could be quite a lot less here. I don't know how much is actually in this tank. I don't know how much foam's in it, if it's completely filled with foam or what. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll put some more fuel in, put that back in, and then we'll go from there. How have I still managed to get fuel everywhere? What the hell?
literally got it everywhere. So I've literally just put in 20 more litres of fuel, and I'm going to go with the theory that the foam is taking up a lot of the fuel. Since it's a new tank, obviously once you fill it up a few times, the foam's going to stay filled with fuel. So, well, it's going to be soaked in fuel, so it's not going to keep doing this. But yeah, look, I've just put another 20 litres. That's at least 35 litres in there now. I think this only holds 40 litres from memory. So yeah, I think there's still another 20 and a bit litres to go. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm going to leave that where it is. And yeah, I think we're good. We're good. Time to try that again. Let's see if we've actually got no fuel leaks, because I was getting too excited before, thinking that I never had any. And this is actually going to be the moment of truth. So let's turn everything on. Oh, there we go. Can definitely hear that getting filled up now. So there we go. That sounds a lot better. Before it was still rattling. Yeah, you can definitely hear fuel going through that now. Oh no, we're leaking, we're leaking. We have got a leak. Where is that leak coming from? Right, let me turn this off. Don't need to film it, we need to sort it quickly. I can hear another leak as well. I can see a leak. Wow, Jesus, there's 20 quid's worth of fuel there. Oh my God, we've got fuel everywhere. Ah, no. Jeez, I'm assuming that's coming from... Yeah, look at that. What the hell? It's loose. Oh my God. This is why you do your final checks, guys. Look at that. That has gone everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. No leaks from down here. Well, at least we know we're getting fuel at the, what you call it? At the fuel rail. As if that's really loose like that. So I wonder if... Yeah, that fitting there. And I do remember changing this fuel rail around as well, because I put that fitting in it. Just there. Well, at least we're finding it out all now and not out on the road. That is going to give me such a headache. Right, so 2 leaks. We've got 2 leaks. I knew it was too good to be true. One of them's here, and one of them is where we were just talking about then. Not too sure why this one's leaking, but we will find out. So, okay, let's have a little look. So the fuel leak seems to be fixed, and I understand why this one was loose, because it was an absolute pain to get onto. I had to do some absolute, I don't even know, some craziness to get to that. So it's all solid now. I've gone over everything, made sure everything else was tight. All these little fittings down here and stuff like that. They all seem okay. I'm not gonna lie, that has scared me a little bit, especially with the fuel leak being inside the car as well here. Now this was always going to be a temp setup just to check everything was working. I have now ordered some more lines because I want to get that connection there out of the car. I want it underneath the car, out of the way. So what the plan has always been is to run the fuel line from here, of course, down there somewhere, or even here to a bulk fitting, and then it's, well, to be fair, yeah, actually, you're still gonna have a connection in the car, aren't you? Because you're gonna have a bulk fitting, and at the end of the day, you got the fuel tank in the car, but it's just more places for it to leak. But anyway, the plan will be to get the fuel lines somewhere on here or down there to a bulkhead fitting, and then out of the car. So yeah, that has scared me a little bit, but look, for the sake of YouTube, no, I'm joking. For the sake of this video though, so I'm not joking, we're just gonna run with it. Hopefully it stays working. I've checked all over it, it all seems okay. And yeah, now to get this thing started, we're not that far off now. There's a couple more things to do. I need to wire up the injectors, because the injectors have like a permanent live, and then they have like, I don't know if it's an earth, but it's basically the injectors go to the ECU on each injector, and then there's a power wire going to all of them from the same source. And then that power source is going to be from the PMU. So I need to wire that up. The other big thing, which I think I'm just going to do a little workaround for now, but the other thing that's stopping it from starting, or starting safely at least, is the pedal, the accelerator pedal. Let me show you why. So the last time this car was running, it had your normal brake pedal, clutch pedal set up. It's now got this tilting pedal box with a reservoir over there, which I'm going to change because I don't like that. One of them's come loose already, so I'm going to get like a official tilting reservoir box and have that fitted instead, because yeah, I don't like that. But it's what came with the pedal set, so beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, onto the pedal. So the brake and the clutch pedal have been set up, the accelerator pedal hasn't. So the accelerator pedal is on this little sensor thing here, which gives you well, it's a sensor that tells you where the pedal is. I need to wire that up. It does look pretty simple. It's pretty much I think it's 6 wires in total. Two of them go to each other, so that means there's only 4 really. So I need to figure that out, but I'm not going to figure it out right now because I haven't got much time left with this car, because I've got a load of other stuff to do on other cars. So what I'm going to do for now is just fit the original pedal. So we've still got the original accelerator pedal from the OEM Mark 4 Golf. So I'm literally just going to plug that in to a normal pedal. Well, plug it into the little adapter it comes with from factory, and then plug it into the pedal, and then use that instead. Same thing that I did on the blue R32, if you remember, or if you've watched that video. If you haven't, doesn't really matter. That's what I'm going to do. And then once that's plugged in, because it's already set up, we should be pretty much ready to go. So sort that accelerator pedal out, sort out the live for the injectors, and then I think we're pretty much ready to go for a first startup with all this new equipment in there. So I think I have done enough now to get a first startup. There's still loads to do, just in time actually, because as you can probably hear, my voice is going. There's still loads to do, obviously. I need to wire the fan up. I need to put coolant in it. There's loads to do. There's absolutely loads, but I think I've done enough to get a first startup. So, fingers crossed. I'm going to put the camera on the stand. I'm going to go for a first startup. If it doesn't start now, then I'm going to have to leave it for a while because I've got so much stuff to do. But let's just go and try and start this car. Right, so I've got the power on ready. Yeah, let's just ignore this is not a pretty sight at all. But anyway, let's try give it a start. Right, first of all, the battery needs some charge, so 2 seconds. Oh, that sounded like it was gonna start then. Oh my way! Oh my way! Okay, it started and cut out. I wonder why it cut out. One thing I was actually worried about is the fuel pressure. So I haven't got a gauge on there to see how much fuel pressure is going through there. And when I had the fuel pumps running, it sounded like there was so much going through it. I have now wired this sensor up, and that goes straight to ADU, but I haven't managed to figure out how to get it to show up or read. So I'm gonna have to ask the company that's been helping me out with all this stuff and get them to help me with it. But let's try that again, because it might have just needed a bit of throttle, but there's the pedal. Let's give it another go. Right, okay, it's starting and then dying. There we go. Okay, so Right, so we've got it running. Obviously, it's running really, really bad. Sounds like there's some sort of air leak, or I personally think there might be too much fuel going to the injectors. No, that can't be it. I don't know. Could be overfueling. Could be a load of things. I don't know. I'll have to take some logs and get it looked at. I can't leave it running long because there's no coolant in there. The fans are not wired up either. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. Because it started up and I wasn't too sure whether it was going to start or not, I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to go and ask some questions, take some logs, and then come back and then hopefully give you guys a much better start. It could just literally be the pedal not being set up anymore. It could be a many things, but like I said, I'm just guessing and I'm wasting time. So yeah, I'll go and ask some questions. We'll come back to it, and then fingers crossed, we'll get it running a bit better. But yeah, excited. Like I said, that's the first time it started with all that new stuff with the ADU, the PMU, the keypad, the new fuel setup, all that stuff. So, you know what else I could have done? I could have got the fuel lines the wrong way around. I don't think I have, but I could have gone from return. I don't know. There's a lot to check. I have been rushing it because I want to go home. It's quite late. So yeah, I'm happy. But anyway, let's get on to the next clip. Right, so there was no way in hell that I was going to be able to go home and sleep without not knowing or working out what this problem is. So it's really late at night. I've come back down. I've had some food and I've come back down and I've been fault finding. So one thing I've managed to do is get the fuel pressure regulator, like basically be able to see what bar that we're getting through the fuel. I can't even get my words out. That's how late it is. So yeah, I've managed to set that up properly. I've got it displayed on the screen. It was reading low. It was reading at 2 bar, so it should be 4 bar. I've adjusted that. It's running a little bit better, it seems. Whereas I can start it now and it's not cutting out. It's spluttering basically. So anyway, that's one thing I've done. That's obviously a problem that I had. Now I was scratching my head, wondering what the hell this was. I have literally just filmed something as well, but realised I never had my mic on, so this is a bit annoying because I've now moved forward with what I was trying to do. So anyway, I was looking around, trying to fault find, and I basically come across something that was so stupid. Let me show you. So basically, I pulled all of this off, so you can see it's still not attached properly, but I had all this off, and I was thinking to myself, I think I've set the fuel lines up wrong. I was thinking maybe I've done them the wrong way around. So what happens is fuel comes in, goes through this line here, through the fuel rail to the injectors. It comes back around up to this fuel line, which goes to the fuel pressure regulator, which keeps the fuel pressure at a consistent pressure, i.e. 4 bar in this case is what it needs to be. So I was about to undo that and make sure that the fuel was coming through that way and not coming through this way instead. Anyway, when I pulled that off, I realized that there was, well, I was looking around basically at everything else and I realized there was something here. So just here, I don't know if you can see it, but basically there was a hole, and that was for, well, what do you even call it? I don't know what you call it. A bit of pipe coming off where you're meant to put a vacuum hose to, and then it goes to your brake servo. But I haven't got a brake servo because obviously I've got a aftermarket pedal set. So that was blank. Now I've put a silicone hose on it, and then I've blanked off the silicone hose with a good old bolt, and I'm hoping, I haven't tried it yet, I'm hoping that was the issue. Now that being a problem does make a lot of sense because the revs were all over the place. Like it had a VAT leak, funny enough. So I think it's that. We're about to find out. I can't leave it running for too long because it is late. Trust me, it's late. So anyway, let's just crack on. So here we go. Let's turn it on. There you can see as well, we've got the fuel pressure showing. So let's give it a go. Right, so that isn't actually any better. Well, that's better than you probably saw in the other clip, but for me, that isn't any better because I have started it already. Once I adjusted the fuel pressure, so that leak wasn't the problem. Now, I haven't done all this up, but it's not enough to be causing an issue like that, I wouldn't say personally. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. I'm still thinking maybe have I got the fuel lines the wrong way around. But would it run if I had them the wrong way around? I don't know. I think it would, because if it was the wrong way around, what would be happening is it would be... No, it wouldn't. It'd be coming up here into the fuel regulator and then coming this way. I don't think it would even start if it was the wrong way around. I don't know if fuel will... I don't know if this regulator would let fuel come the other way. I don't know. I don't know. Anything else, Lou? Right, okay. Right, for now, that's me all out of ideas. I'm going to go home, go to sleep, and come and check it out tomorrow. Right, another day has passed. As you can tell by my voice, it's just getting worse and worse. I spent a bit more time on the twin turbo R32. To be honest, I ain't even got time to be spending on this car right now, but it's been bugging the hell out of me. But anyway, I think I have found the problem. Long story short, a long time ago, I upgraded the injectors on this car to 980cc from 550cc. The injectors that I upgraded to had different end connectors. I found out that the end connectors were the same as the 25 1.8 turbo. Luckily, I had two of those looms in stock, so I undid the connectors for the injectors on the 180, transferred them over to this car. I basically de-pinned it from the ECU and ran it all the way on the same wire, de-pinned the R32 one and put them in. Had it mapped up, and yeah, absolutely fine. Recently, at some point, I've unpinned them, and I think I was just rerouting the wires or something, and it seems though, well, I definitely have put the injectors in the wrong way around. So I put 3 and 4 in the wrong way around. Now, to my defense, obviously a 180 20 valve has only got 4 injectors. So that meant I had 4 different colored wires plus 2 of the same. So yeah, I've just made a mistake somewhere down the line, and yeah, I've been able to have a look. Let me tell you what, let me show you how I came across this issue, because it's quite interesting actually. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is the program. This is ECU Master's software for the ECU. Now, if you go up here, press this, you can do an output test. So literally you can select all the outputs on this little drop down, injector 1, 2, 3, 4, ignition, coils, so that's the coil packs and stuff like that. So literally if you go to injector 1, for example, press test. I don't know if you can hear that. But there's like a little clicking sound, and I basically was going through all the injectors, checking them, and injector 3 and 4 just didn't sound like they were in the correct place. So I took it all apart, took all the pipe work off, took the rail off, and held the injector, pressed it, and yeah, they were the wrong way around. So I've swapped them around, and we are going to test if it now runs properly. If it doesn't run properly, it should run fine now. If it doesn't, then at least I've found another issue that would have been an issue somewhere down the line. But anyway, let's go and give it another test. I don't know how many tests I've done now. This is like the 5th startup or 6th or 7th startup. I don't know. But anyway, let's go and give it a try. The injector's doing its thing. Tell you what, let me check for some leaks actually, because I've had all the fuel rail off and stuff, so let's get that pumping for a sec. All seems good. I had to literally pull all of this out, all this off. No leaks, I'm happy with that. Let's go.
So it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Ah. It's exactly the same. How can it be exactly the same when the injectors were running wrong? I think I'm gonna have to check the core packs now. But it's another late night. I can't really keep starting the car. There's neighbours nearby. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Anyway, next clip. I don't know. I might not even put this up. Next clip, see in a bit. Right, so we're on to the next day now, and I think I've found the issue. So when I went home last night, I was racking my brains once again, thinking, what the hell could this be? And I come to the conclusion, the battery may be the issue. Main reason is because there was no alternator belt on the car, which I knew about, but I didn't really think it through. So there was no belt on it. So when I'm trying to run it or running it, it's taking up loads of power, of course, as cars do, especially with them fuel pumps and free fuel pumps and everything else. That battery pack was just not enough to help run the car. So anyway, I've been to Euro Car Parts, got myself a belt, I've put it on, I've given it a run, and it was running fine. I picked the camera up to film it, and it was running funny again. But I've let the battery charge for a little bit. We're going to give it another go. I've been busy, while the battery's been charging, I've been busy wiring a fan up and a few other bits and bobs. But anyway, listen, let's go and give it a try. While I was waiting, I also wired up the accelerator pedal. So we've got the proper one now. I've linked it to the ECU and did everything I need to do, and it's all working. So anyway, let's give this thing a fire up. Power everywhere. There we go. Now it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Listen to that. Happy days. Now if I give it a little rev, it does idle funny again, but and if you remember, yesterday we had a battery thing flashing up as well. So that's what reminded me that, yeah, it must be something to do with that. Got good voltage now. Right, I'm calling that a day. I'm calling that a successful day, actually. Thank you to everyone for watching. A massive shout out to Level Motorsport Wiring for the help. All times of day, all times of night, I've been messaging, asking loads of questions. I would not be here as quick as this if it wasn't for them. So shout out to them. Yeah. Oh yeah, go and check out the R30, yeah, it's an R30. The big turbo blue R32, it's going. I'm gonna raffle it off. Check my social media, Anton Level Up. It's not on the website. Go and check my previous video that I put up where it says goodbye R32 or something like that, and you'll find the details in there. And yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, all that stuff. Follow me on social media, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.